Alrighty, so just like with my problem with most X, this is my problem with most modern open world games. And yes, I am wearing the, where is it, Street Fighter shirt. Haha, the joke I've heard of my whole life. But I made you know, my problem with most modern video games. This kind of branches off that, like more particular things that I can go more into detail. And just like always, I've got my notes written down, so I'm going to be reading it from my first note to the last note. The first note I have is growing up, I hated how an incredible game felt so small and linear. Basically, you beat a game in like 3 or 4 hours. I was like, oh, okay. I'd wish for more. Nowadays, I find myself wanting less. Examples. So, am I saying I want these to be open world like a remake now? No. When I played these back then, yes, I was like, I wish there was more. So I put Resident Evil 0 because I beat that in like 3 or 4 hours. I was like, man, I wish there was more to it. Gears of War 1, and even kind of, you could say all three, but 1 and 2, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, imagine this as an open world, And then the more and more I thought about it, I was like, nah, like, I don't know. And Bioshock. Bioshock, I could see Bioshock working as like a multiplayer game, which the second one technically had multiplayer. So I could see it as like a first person shooter, kind of like with abilities and PvP, but nothing. You could do open world, I suppose. I don't know how well that would work, because replaying the first game, it basically is just open world enough, like even lesser than a sandbox, where I was like, okay, this is just the right amount. Is there a little bit more places I would wish I could have gone? Yes, but it's not too bad. I put, second note, there are very few open worlds that are enjoyable nowadays. Examples. I put 2. Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously. I was low key on the like, oh, because it's so hype, I don't wanna play it. And then I finally played it last year and loved it. Mainly for the story, but it is a quite beautiful open world experience with a lot of things to see and do. And my other one was Horizon Zero Dawn. I need to finish Horizon Forbidden West. There's just something so weird about it where I jumped in, played for maybe 3-4 hours, and I just can't get myself to come back to it, honestly. Horizon Zero Dawn I loved. I replayed that a few times. Love the world, love the different like biomes and all the things you can see, the different creatures, all that. So those were just my 2 best examples. Note 3. The sad reality is, games like Fallout 3 and New Vegas and Skyrim truly were a great open world environment. The world was just big enough to have many sights and things to see, but never felt so open that there was no purpose. Okay. And it's funny that I use all 3 examples are basically from Bethesda, which I could make a whole video about that, but just for the quick notes. Bethesda is so now. So meh. Whereas, 2000, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say since Arena, but really since from Morrowind to, I'd say, you know what, even Fallout 4 was like their peak. And then, bloop. But, so when I was a preteen, I guess, so 2008, when Fallout 3 came out, I was pretty young. I was like a young teenager. If I remember correctly, my brother got the game, didn't like it or whatever, so I played it and I was like, this is awesome. But then I only played for like a couple hours and then gave up. And then a few years later, I was like, hey, I remember that game being pretty fun. I get on it, and I have great memories with Fallout 3. I need to replay it again because honestly, it's a vibe. just replaying like Operation Anchorage, Mothership Zeta, and all that. It was, to me, I think it was actually my true like first open world game playing. And then I played Oblivion and stuff, which I saw a friend of mine playing Oblivion. I was like, what is this game? I need to see what this is. But yeah, Fallout 3. There's a lot. It's funny when you look at the map compared to a lot of new things, how small it is. But because of how small it is, they made every little thing count. There's a few areas, I guess, where you might walk and there's nothing, but there's always something to look at. They really, I feel like they gave a shit. And there's always like, ooh, corner of the map, there's something. Ooh, like I found this mysterious spot. Oh my god, there's something here. What is that? Whoa, oh wow. New mission, randomly spawned. Bam. Oblivion. Oh my god, yeah, playing that, I was like, this is the craziest open world like ever. Like, this is huge. And there's always just like random stuff you could do, random enemies, or like, random spawns, stuff like that. Skyrim. Oh my god, Skyrim. I might not play it now, because I've just about played all I can. I think I had a combined hour total from all consoles and stuff at like 1,000 hours. And I was like, I'm good. I don't know what else to do. I mean, mods are fun, but they only go so far. And man, when Skyrim came out in 2011, oh my god. I like, it was like breathtaking. I mean, I literally was like, this is the best game ever invented. I've never played a game like this. It was truly awesome. Fallout 4, adds the base building and stuff, and I think they did, for the most part, add a lot more to the map and things to do, random objectives, and so I did like that. New Vegas. New Vegas is the top tier of all of them. I could replay New Vegas right now. I replay it from time to time. I'll jump on like at least once a month and just like, this is perfect. The dialogue, the characters, the scenery, the weapons, the armor, everything, the missions, it's just so perfect. And then yeah, that is a little bit more I guess I'm just getting a little too nostalgic, but on the second note to that, games like Assassin's Creed became so open world, it became a slog to get through, an empty open world with really nothing to do. What I mean by that is, my best example is the newer Assassin's Creed games. So, because I've played all of them. Unity, I didn't feel this. Syndicate, I felt it a little. But in Syndicate, there's actually a bunch of stuff to do, like little mini games and stuff, which there is in the newer Assassin's Creed games, but to me just is so less. So I'm talking about Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. Origins, I love the story. That's the only thing that kept me going. The gameplay is alright, but it's like, they do that arbitrary, like, this area is level 45 and you're level 32. Well, get back to grinding. Oh, go grind for another hour or two and then you can come back and progress to the story. No, how about I don't? Assassin's Creed Odyssey was the worst, was the most atrocious out of the three of these. That game just drags and drags and is like, the map is so big and there's just so much open space and you just do nothing. Just wandering around. I was like, I'm bored. Like, you're making me run around this whole fucking map. And it's not like there's a few hidden things like creatures and bosses and stuff, but it's so few and far between that me personally, I found myself getting ungodly bored. And they could have easily made the map smaller and it wouldn't have been a problem. I think with Valhalla, they said it was smaller than Odyssey, but even with Valhalla, I can't remember if I beat it. I don't know. But it was just such a large map, and I found myself like walking on, going on my horse, and I'm like, dude, in real time, it's been 15 fucking minutes. Why is it taking this long? Like, what the fuck? And then you get somewhere, die, there you go all the way back. And I enjoyed um, the old Assassin's Creed games because they felt like sandbox basically, just enough where there's a little bit of side stuff you can kind of explore, but not too much where you're like, oh my god, and the grind and stuff. And it's funny that I say Assassin's Creed because they're, in my opinion, one of the more egregious ones. Actually, a lot of things from Ubisoft are the egregious ones. Side note, I put Gears of War 6 is apparently open world. I don't know how I feel about that exactly. I'm optimistic. I'm hoping they do something cool with it. Um, we'll see. We'll see on that one. I am a big Gears of War guy, so we'll see. And I'm not obviously trying to gatekeep anything. I'm just curious. Like, so here's the thing. I love Gears Tactics, the RTS Gears game. I love it. I think it's, I was real hesitant. I don't really play RTS games. I was like turn-based, fucking Gears of War. Ugh, nah. Then I played it, and I was like, this is actually a fun gameplay, and I think it works for Gears of War. So who knows? Maybe it could work, open world, just however they do it. Playing games like Starfield truly show how open world games have fallen. The fake guise of explore any planet, but they're just empty shells with the same mining facility on most planets. So, personal note. So I beat Starfield. I'd say within a week, I think. There was that whole thing, mind you. It's like Todd Howard, fucking liar. You can go to any planet. Oh my god, land anywhere. Blah blah blah. True, except you land anywhere and it's just barren fucking wasteland. Or you happen to land, there's a facility there. It's the same fucking designed facility on almost every planet. And I kept going to each planet. I'm like, it's just the same looking thing over and over again. And you don't even get like a rover or a little scooter, nothing. And I remember someone from Bethesda, I can't remember who it was, said something about like, oh, well, that'd ruin like, your exploring. It's like, what? When I was playing that, my wife was sitting in here. She was like, you don't have like a robot or something? And nothing. I can't fly my ship low and be in my ship, like hovering. I can't have a miniature ship in my ship that can deploy and, hover. Nothing. I can't, like, even Death Stranding, people will say it's a walking simulator. You can have vehicles and robots and stuff like that help you speed up the process. There's nothing like that. It's baffling. And Starfield, man, yeah, talk about an open world that's just dead on the inside and outside. You go to the hubs and it's still just everything. It doesn't feel real, Something I liked about New Vegas that, for the time, worked well is when you would go to the strip, they would actually have like audio playing in the background that sounds like in the distance you can hear like people having fun and this and that. And so it really helped with like, you go into a casino, you might see like 15 NPCs, but then you also can hear that. And so it gives off the illusion of like, oh yeah, and I like that, Nowadays, it shouldn't be a problem to actually fill the room up with all the NPCs you need. But yes, I was not a fan of Starfield. I liked what they did with the New Game Plus. I thought it was pretty neat, but just so bland. And I love New Vegas and stuff, but like, why is Starfield feel so clunky? Like those games from over 10 years ago. It should not be feeling that way. It's also crazy for an adult like myself to play open world games that take 90 to 100 hours to beat or comfortably finish. That also kind of ties into Assassin's Creed and these other ones. Where, and I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not going to say obviously it's bad. I need to play it, but there's a whole thing with like The Witcher 3. I've never beaten The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3, Baldur's Gate 3, all, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They're like, to do everything, it'll take you over 100 hours to beat. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to play that. That is just so long. I mean, yes, I'm paying $60, but 100 hours? In Valhalla, I hit like 79 hours, and my friend who beat it, I was like, "Am I close to the end?" He's like, "Yeah, I mean, you're kind of close." I was like, "You know what? I'm done. If I'm 80 hours in a game and I'm still not close to the end, I'm done. Like, what the fuck are you doing?" I loved, and this goes into the second note. Um, I use Mass Effect 2 as an example. Actually, Mass Effect 2 and 3. Mass Effect 2 and 3. For me, I didn't do everything, but I did a lot in Mass Effect 2 and 3. Both games took me roughly like 25 hours to beat. And to me, that was solid. I could do the main story, do, most of the side stuff. I think like 30, 40 hours to me is good. And in some cases, I will even excuse less, like Dead Space, and like the Dead Space remake. So the Dead Space remake, I beat that in what, 13 hours, roughly, I think. Not a problem with me. There was, what was it? Oh yeah, no, yeah. Like I said, I beat Resident Evil 0 in like 3 hours. And I'll make a video about this later, but I just beat Resident Evil 1 for the first time, like on my own. I had technically beaten it in middle school, but a friend of mine, I had just copied her memory card on the GameCube and then continued where she left off and beat it. So this is my first time actually beating the game from beginning to end by myself. But yeah, last note I have. Video game companies need to understand it doesn't have to be this endless bloated game. Spend time and make a good game and with good content, and people will keep playing your game. Yes. So I think they just need to dial it back a little bit, and this was kind of my problem with modern games is they only want to make like AAA games, and it's like, no, we gotta release it every 2 years. Why? So that you can go bankrupt? Because you rush it and fuck up, then you have to do layoffs at your company. Wow, good for you. Awesome. It's like, dude, take your time, man. It's okay. Plus, I mean, on the other hand, I mean, I'm only talking about open world, not all games as a whole, but look at the Lethal Company. There's one dude who was like, meh, let me just build this whatever game. Imagine if, large video game companies were like, okay, let's take time on this open world game, but let's also make linear games, I feel like I talked about this in my other video, but like, it doesn't have to just be one game every, whatever. Dude, like, have a variety, for like this kind of person, that what are we doing here? But that's going to be it for this video. A little bit shorter than my other ones, but I just wanted to get through the notes, get to my points. As always, if you agree with me, don't agree with me, let me know in the comments. I'm always wanting discussion. That's my big key thing here is I want to know how other people feel about these things. So, as always, I appreciate you watching. I'm out.